This is Beyond Stars Productions. Hello and welcome to Star Power and Everything Podcast. I'm your host, Star Craib-Leete, and this is episode 1. The introduction episode, as it were, which is pretty much what this is going to be. It's going to be me sitting here telling you guys what this podcast is going to be about, the different format I have for it, and general bits and pieces, kind of setting the scene, as it were. But first, I should introduce myself properly. I'm Star. I'm a Scottish trans girl. I play many different fan doctors and many different audios, or in some cases, fan films. I do editing. I edit an awful lot of running Doctor Who podcast. Really recommend it if you're into Doctor Who. Go have a listen. And sometimes I dabble with drawing. I kind of dabble with a lot of things. And I am autistic, which is kind of a factor of why I want to do this podcast. Because as an autistic, I have my special interest. It's Doctor Who. Doctor Who is my big fixation. But I also have little other fixations. I have a love for Supernatural. I have a love for Sherlock. Yes, I'm into Super Who-Lock. I apologise. No, I don't. I'm on Tumblr still. Leave me alone. I'm also into things like Back to the Future, musicals, Marvel, DC. Looking around my room right now. Hatsune Miku, Taylor Swift, Lego, Disney. Various different things. I have a lot of little hyperfixations. And what I kind of want to do with this podcast is kind of explore them a little more. But not just my own hyperfixations. I want to explore other people's hyperfixations. I want to know what people love and why they love it. And I want to hear from these people. Which is why in several of these episodes I will have guests on to talk about each topic. Each episode will be its own topic. The plan for this first volume, set, series, whatever you want to call it, we'll be doing 5 episodes, not including introduction, which is this. We'll be doing Doctor Who, Dungeons and Dragons, Marvel on a kind of big vague scale, anime on a big vague scale, and musicals on a big vague scale. And with how vague some of those topics are, that means they can actually be revisited in future episodes as well, which opens the door for more perspectives and more look at how people interact with these different things and how they love these things and how much these mean to people. So that's kind of the general gist of what the overall plan is. To get into the more nitty-gritty part, each week we'll be talking about a topic. We'll be talking about why they love it, what it means to them, what fun little lore or bits and pieces, facts or whatever they love about it. It'll basically just be a bunch of mates sitting down, potentially with a hypothetical cup of tea, and talking about something we love. And just exploring that topic and as much as we can within the space of like an hour or two. And it's very much designed to, while this is my podcast, it's very much designed to be kind of your podcast. While I have all the slots for this first series booked up, I'll be opening up more for when we do set 2. And if you want to talk about a topic, I will have that posted on Blue Sky, Instagram, or if you have my Discord server or the Star Power Discord server, which I'm going to suggest you join. I will have it in the link of the description bit. And yeah, so it's very much your podcast as well as mine. As for the format, My plan is we have this nice big chunk where we just sit down, we put our feet up, we talk about what we love, we get into all that stuff like I've just said, and then I have a plan for an audience section, because not everyone will be able to get in on the episode that they want to get in on. I can't run a podcast with like 20 different people. I have a maximum of about 4, I think, for this pod. But I don't want to like push anyone out, because again, this is your podcast. This is an everything podcast. I want it to be welcoming. I want people to feel heard. So there will be an audience section where I ask a question about the topic of the episode prior to recording, and then people can answer, and we get their feedback and we talk about that, and hopefully it makes you feel included. And again, this with the topics, it doesn't mean when they're done we won't come back to them. We definitely will. A lot of these topics are vague, a lot of them are constantly changing. There will be lots to talk about. But yeah, so going a little off track. Audience section is designed to let more people in than I could do in a normal recording. Which then leads us on to the last section I have, which is a little sort of game kind of thing. I'm not actually sure what the title is of it yet. It's kind of been going through a few things. I think it will kind of go through a few different titles in this first volume series set thing. At the moment, it's called Connections, and the point is that you take the topic of the episode you're in. So let's say, for example, the next episode is Doctor Who. So people at the end of that episode will talk about how Doctor Who connects to the next episode, which is Dungeons and Dragons. And there's plenty of options you can say there. I'm not going to say anything, because that would be giving the answers to our lovely guests, which I will come to next. And then so on. So the Dungeons and Dragons episode, we'll have to talk about Marvel and what connects them. Marvel will have to talk about how Marvel connects with anime musicals, etc, etc. As for the final episode of each set, so musicals, the plan is that it will tie back into the first episode. So what do musicals have to do with Doctor Who? So it all kind of ties up in a nice kind of bow loop thingy. And yeah, it's meant to be kind of fun. It's meant to kind of be challenging. Some weeks it'll be more difficult. Some weeks it'll be easier. So like this first set, I think it will be pretty easy. But as the pod goes on, we might come across things like, I don't know, for example, BBC Sherlock, and how does that connect to the history of Spain, 1792 to 1801? I don't know, something like that. It could be, quite frankly, ridiculous. And then some weeks it'll just be, how does this connect to this thing, which is like pretty much next door to it. And yeah, so it's going to be varying levels of challenging. It's going to be a little bit of fun. It might have a bit of a competition element. We'll see how that goes. A lot of this first set is going to be a learning curve for me, because while I have done podcast editing, shout out to An Awful Lot of Running, and hosting actually, also shout out to An Awful Lot of Running, while I've done that, this is my first time doing my own podcast. This is me working it all out on my own. I don't have Jack or Robin to help me kind of figure out what it is. And it's very new, it's a very big learning curve, and I think I will work it out, because I think that's the same with a lot of first episode podcasts. You have all these different things, you learn, you kind of work out what your format is as you go. As long as the podcast remains fun and welcoming, then I have done my job beautifully. Which then finally leads me to announcing who the guests are for the rest of the series. So we have on episode 2/1, depending what I call this one, because technically this is an episode 0, but it could be an episode 1. Yeah, we'll decide that later. I'll decide it when I upload it. So when I've uploaded it, you'll be able to see what I did. Wibbly wobbly. Talking of wibbly wobbly, the first episode will be Doctor Who, which has our guests of Jack Alexander, Ewan Wallace, and Tilly Brown. All people I have worked with in the Doctor Who fan audio sphere. Wonderful people. Jack obviously doing an awful lot of running a Doctor Who podcast. Ewan running his own universe called Beyond Master Plans. It's a wonderful little series. I'm part of that too. It's growing quite well. I'm very excited to see how much it grows. And Tilly, who has Quad Matter, it's quite frankly, what she has is utterly bonkers, but it's worth every second. Have a look at that. I work with her on the Dawn Doctor series and the Star Doctor series and the 13th Doctor series that we've been doing. And yeah, so that's episode 2 guests. Episode 3, it's another guy from An Awful Lot of Running. Robin Fall joins us, as well as I feel bad because I should have asked his name, but I didn't, so I only have the username. I will find that out when we actually record the podcast. I'm so sorry in advance. But so yeah, joining us for Dungeons & Dragons is Robin Fall and Ron 88 Keys, where we'll be talking all things D&D, what our favourite kind of classes and lore and all those different bits and pieces are. Robin, obviously, podcast, and Ron is from another D&D thing called Severed Studios, which is very, very good. I recommend that highly. Then we're on to episode 4, Marvel, which I am joined by 2 of my local friends, actually, Andrew Walker and Grant Jameson, who I've worked with quite a lot over the last 10 years plus. Actually did my first ever Doctor Who fan film with Grant. It has lost time, and honestly, thank God for that. And yeah, no, it's going to be really cool talking to 2 of these friends who I've grown up with about something we love. But that is not all. We are not just joined by the 2 from Inner Ring, which, by the way, I would also recommend having a look at. They're part of Inner Ring. I'm also part of Inner Ring. It's very, very cool. But we also have Courtney McCree joining us, who is the Paradox Doctor for Inner Ring's Doctor Who universe, and you may recognise her from various Doctor Who things across the fan audiosphere. She's very popular on TikTok. She's done some stuff for Man at Desk. She's kind of been all over. And then episode 5 is with Jake Mancuso and my husband, Cass. Do I need to really shout out my husband? It's my husband. He plays my successor in the Star Doctor series. He plays the Grey Doctor and also my Doctor's companion. So I guess that's a sort of self-plug there. Check now. Whereas Jake Mancuso is the Bohemian Doctor. He runs the Enchanted Universe. He's also a Doctor over on What Fourth Wall. He'll also be a character in Time Siren Productions soon. I'm not going to spill any more beans on that. That's for the Time Siren stuff to explain, not me. Well, I mean, I guess it is me because I run that, but unrelated. Anyway, sorry, as you might have been able to tell during this podcast, I am a bit of a rambler. But don't worry, the rambling is coming to an end because we are now on to the next episode, which is episode 6 or 5, depending. And we are on to musicals, which will have guests Jack Alexander? I thought we just had him. No, I'm kidding. He's come back, and it's kind of a Red Twilight special, this, because we've got Jack Alexander, we've got Oliver Smith, we got Nat, and a potential sighting of Kat, who make wonderful Doctor Who zines. And Ollie is a wonderful friend of mine. They've been there in a lot of different situations. They've got their own Doctor Who universe. I invited Jack back on because An Awful Lot of Running is kind of what inspired this podcast in a way, and what kind of really got the wheels running. So it kind of makes sense to have Jack on a few times. And that's going to be something really special, because they are, I think this team are the most talented people I know, and I'm very, very excited to talk to them about musicals and how, spoiler alert for this, but spoiler alert for this, but I didn't like Wicked before I went to see it, and then they've got one over me because I really enjoyed it. Anyway, Wicked good. So that will be a kind of nice fun one to round out this first set. Very excited to get into it. Very excited to see how this goes, actually, because I have the plan. You've heard the plan. And I'm very curious to see how I'm going to evolve that plan as it goes and where things will continue to go. And I hope to see you guys, hopefully, in future episodes, or sticking around, or whatever you want. I mean, I generally just hope that people will enjoy this, and maybe it will introduce people to new things, or reignite their passion for certain things. And again, I just hope it's a lot of fun for both audience and listeners and myself, which I think it will be. I think it's going to be a blast. With that, that will be the end of this introduction podcast. I haven't quite worked out an intro, so I'm just going to say something as simple as peace out and see you next time. If you enjoyed this episode of Star Power and Everything Podcast, then please consider subscribing, or leaving a comment, or maybe a like, or a follow, or whatever it is your platform that you use for listening to podcasts does. And don't forget to look at the link tree in the description for my socials and my Discord for all things Star Power and Beyond Stars Productions. Thanks for listening.